Cantos 70 to 72 of Book 2 of the Ramayana of Valmiki, translated by Ralph G. H. Griffith. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Om123. Canto 70. Bharat's Departure. While thus he spoke, the envoys borne, on horses faint and travel-worn, had gained the city fenced around, with a deep moat's protecting bound. An audience of the king they gained, and honours from the prince obtained. The monarch's feet they humbly pressed, to Bharat next these words addressed. The household priest and peers by us send health to thee and greet thee thus. Come to thy father's house with haste, thine absent time no longer waste. Receive these vestures rich and rare, these costly gems and jewels fair, and to thy uncle here present each precious robe and ornament. These for the king and him suffice, 200 millions is their price. These, what 100 millions be, reserved, O large-eyed prince, for thee. Loving his friends with heart and soul, the joyful prince received the whole, due honor to the envoys paid, and thus in turn his answer made. Of Dasarat tidings tell, is the old king my father well? Is Rama and is Lakshman he of the high soul, from sickness free? And she who walks where duty leads, Kaushalya, known for gracious deeds, mother of Rama, loving spouse, bound to her lord by well-kept vows? And Lakshman's mother too, the dame, Sumitra, skilled in duty's claim, who brave Shatrugna also bare, second in age, her health declare. And she in self-conceit most says, with selfish heart most prone to raise, my mother, fares she well? Has she sent message or come unto me? Thus Bharat spake, the mighty-souled, and they in brief their tidings told. All they of whom thou askest dwell, O landlord, secure and well. Thine all the smiles of fortune are, make ready, let them yoke the car. Thus by the royal envoys pressed, Bharat again the band addressed. I go with you, no long delay, a single hour I bid you stay. Thus Bharat, son of him who swayed Ayodhya's realm, his answer made, and then bespoke, his heart to please, his mother's sire in words like these. I go to see my father, king, urged by the envoy's summoning, and when thy soul desires to see, thy grandson will return to thee. The king, his grandsire, kissed his head, and in reply to Bharat said, Go forth, dear child, how blessed is she, the mother of a son like thee. Greet well thy sire, thy mother greet, O thou whose arms the foe defeat. The household priest and all the rest, amid the twice-born chief and best, and Rama and brave Lakshman who showed the long shaft with aim so true. To him the king high honor showed, and store of wealth and gifts bestowed, the choicest elephants to ride, and skins and blankets deftly dyed, 1,000 strings of golden beads, and 1,600 mettled steeds, and boundless wealth before him piled, gave Kaikeyi to Kaikeyi's child, and man of counsel good and tried, on whose firm truth he aye relied. King Asupati gave with speed Prince Bharat on his way to lead. And noble elephants strong and young, from sires of Indrasita sprung, and others tall and fair to view, of great Airavats lineage true, and well-yoked asses fleet of limb, the prince his uncle gave to him. And dogs within the palace bred, of body vast and massive head, with mighty fangs for battle brave, the tiger's match in strength he gave. Yet Bharat's bosom hardly glowed, to see the wealth the king bestowed, for he would speed that hour away, such care upon his bosom lay. Those eager envoys urged him thence, and death's sad visions influence. He left his courtyard crowded then, with elephants and steeds and men, and peerless in immortal fame, to the great royal street he came. He saw, as farther still he went, the inner rooms most excellent, and passed the doors to him unclosed, where check nor bar his way opposed. There Bharat stayed to bid adieu to grandsire and to uncle too. Then with Shatrugna by his side, mounting his car, away he hied. the strong-wheeled cars were yoked, and they, more than 100, rolled away. Servants with horses asses kine followed their lord in endless line. So guarded by his own right hand, fought high-souled Varadhide, surrounded by a lordly band, on whom the king relied. Beside him sat Satrugna dear, the scourge of trembling foes. Thus from the light of Indra's fair, a saint made perfect goes. Canto 71. Bharat's Return. Then Bharat's face was eastward bent, as from the royal town he went. He reached Sudama's farther side, and glorious gazed upon the tide. Passed Hladini, and saw her toss, her westering billows hard to cross. Then old Ikshaku's famous son, over Satadru his passes won, near Ailadhana on the strand, and came to Upper Paryat's land. Over Sila's flood he hurried fast, Akravati's fair stream he passed, crossed over Angaya's rapid reel, and Sailakatan onward steal. Silavaha's swift stream he eyed, true to his vows and purified. Then crossed the lofty hills and stood in Chaitrarat's mighty wood. He reached a confluence where meet Saraswati and Ganga fleet, and through Varun the forest spread, northward of Biramachya sped. He sought Kalinda's child, who feels the soul with joy begot by hills, reached Yamuna, and passing over, rested his army on the shore. He gave his horses food and rest, baited reeking limb and drooping crest. They drank their fill, and baited them there, and water for their journey bare. Thence through a mighty wood he sped, all wild and uninhabited. As in fair chariot through the skies, most fair in shape, a storm-god flies. To Anasdhan Ganga hard to cross, his onward journey barred. So turning quickly, thence he came, to Pragvat city dear to fame. There, having gained the farther side, to Kutika's thika he hied. The stream he crossed, and onward then, to Dharmavardhan brought his man. Thence, leaving Thoran on the north, to Jambuprastha journeyed forth. Then onward to a pleasant grove, by fair Varutha's town he drove. And when a while he there had stayed, went eastward from the friendly shade, eastward of Ujjahana where the priyak trees are tall and fair. He passed, and rested there each steed, exhausted with the journey's speed. There orders to his man addressed, which quickened pace he onward pressed. A while at Sarvatirtha spent, then over Uttanika he went. Over many a stream beside he sped, with courses on the mountains spread, and passing Hastinapristak took the road over Kutika's fair brook. Then at Lohitya's village he crossed over the swift Kapivati. Then passed where Kashala stands, thus Thanumati's flood and sands, and Gomati of fair renown, by Vinata's delightful town. When to Kalinga near he drew, a wood of salt trees charmed to view. That passed, the sun began to rise, and Bharat saw with happy eyes Ayodhya city built and planned by ancient Manu's royal hand. 7 nights upon the road had passed, and when he saw the town at last before him in her beauty spread, thus Bharat to the driver said, "This glorious city from afar, wherein pure groves and gardens are, seems to my eager eyes today a lifeless pile of yellow clay. Through all her streets, where erst a throng of men and women streamed along, uprose the multitudinous roar. Today I hear that sound no more. No longer do mine eyes behold the leading people as of old. On elephants' cars horses go, abroad and homeward, to and fro. The brilliant gardens where we heard the wild note of each rapturous bird, where man and women love to meet in pleasant shades for pastime sweet. These to my eyes this day appear, joyless and desolate and drear. Each tree that graced the garden grieves, and every path is spread with leaves. The merry cry of bird and beast, that spake aloud their joy has ceased. Still is the long melodious note, that charmed us from each warbling throat. Why blows the blessed air no more, the incense-breathing air that bore its sweet incomparable scent of sandal and of aloe blent? Why are the drum and tabor mute? Why is the music of the lute, that woke up responsive to the quill, loved by the happy hushed and still? my boding spirit gathers hence dire scenes of awful consequence, and omens crowding on my sight weigh down my soul with wild affright. Scarce shall I find my friends who dwell here in Ayodhya safe and well, for surely not without a cause this crushing dread my soul overawes. Heartsick, dejected every sense, confused by terror's influence, on to the town he quickly swept, which King Ikshaku's children kept. He passed through Vijayanta's gate, with weary steeds disconsolate, and all who near their station held, his escort crying victory swelled. With heart distracted still, he bowed farewell to all the following crowd, turned to the driver and began to question thus the weary man. Why was I brought, O free from blame, so fast, unknown for what I came? Yet fear of ill my heart appalls, and all my wonted courage falls. For I have heard in days gone by the changes seen when monarchs die, and all those signs, O charioteer, I see today surround me here. Each kinsman's house looks dark and grim, no hand delights to keep it trim. The beauty vanished and the pride, the doors unkept stand open wide. No morning rites are offered there, no grateful incense loads the air, and all therein, with brows overcast, sit joyless on the ground and fast. Their lovely chaplets dry and dead, their courts unswept, with dust overspread. The temples of the gods today no more look beautiful and gay. Neglected stands each holy shrine, each image of a Lord divine. No shop where flowery wreaths are sold is bright and busy as of old. The women and the men I mark, absorbed in fancies dull and dark, their gloomy eyes with tears bedewed, a poor afflicted multitude. His mind oppressed with woe and dread, thus Bharat to his driver said, viewed the dire signs Ayodhya showed, and onward to the palace rode. Canto 72. Bharat's Inquiry. He entered in, he looked around, nor in the house his father found. Then to his mother's dwelling bent, to see her face he quickly went. She saw her son so long away, returning after many a day, and from her golden seat in joy sprung forward to her darling boy. Within the bower, no longer bright, came Bharat, lover of the right, and bending with observance sweet, clasped his dear mother's lovely feet. Long kisses on his brow she pressed, and held her hero to her breast. Then fondly drew him to her knees, and questioned him in words like these: How many nights have fled since thou leftest thy grandsire's home till now? By flying steeds so swiftly borne, art thou not weak and travel worn? How fares the king my father? Tell, is Yudhajit thine uncle well? And now, my son, at length declare the pleasure of the visit there. Thus to the offsprings of the king she spake with tender questioning, and to his mother made reply young Bharat of the lotus eye. The 7th night has come and fled, since from my grandsire's home I sped. My mother's sire is well, and he, Yudhajit, from all trouble free. The gold and every precious thing, presented by the conqueror king, the slower girds behind convey. I left them weary on the way, urged by the man my father sent. My hasty course I heed her bent. Now I implore an answer thine, and all I wish to know explain. Unoccupied I now behold this couch of thine adorned with gold, and each of King Ikshaku's race appears with dark and gloomy face. The king is I, my mother dear, most constant in his visits here. To meet my sire I sought this path. How is it that I find him not? I long to clasp my father's feet. Say where he lingers, I entreat. Perchance the monarch may be seen, where dwells Kaushalya, eldest queen. His father's fate from him concealed, Kaikeyi to her son revealed, told as glad news the story said, for lust of sway had made her mad. Thy father, O my darling, now has gone thy way, all life must go, devout and famed, of lofty thought, in whom the good their refuge sought. When Bharat, pious, pure, and true, heard the sad words which pierced him through, grieved for the sire he loved so well, prostrate upon the ground he fell. Down fell the strong-armed hero, high, tossing his arms and a sad cry, Ah, woe is me, unhappy slain! Burst from his lips again and again, afflicted for his father's fate by grief's intolerable weight. With every sense amazed and cowed, the splendid hero wailed aloud. Ah me, my royal father's bed, of old the gentle radiance said, like the pure sky when clouds are past, and the moon's light is over it cast. Ah, of its wisest lord bereft, it shows to-day faint radiance left, as when the moon has left the sky, or mighty ocean's depths are dry. With choking sobs, with many a tear, pierced to the heart with grief sincere, the best of conquerors poured his sighs, and with his robe veiled face and eyes. Kaikeyi saw him fallen there, godlike, afflicted in despair, used every art to move him thence, and tried him thus with eloquence. Arise, arise, my dearest, why wilt thou, famed prince, so lowly lie? Not by such grief as this are moved good men like thee, by all approved. The art thy father nobly swayed, and rites to heaven he duly paid. At length his race of life was run, thou shouldst not mourn for him, my son. Long on the ground he wept and rolled, from side to side, still unconsoled, and then, with bitter grief oppressed, his mother with these words addressed. This joyful hope my bosom fed, when from the grandsire's halls I sped. The king will throne his eldest son, and sacrifice as should be done. But all is changed, my hope was vain, and this sad heart is rent in twain. For my dear father's face I miss, who ever sought his loved one's bliss. But in my absence, mother, say, what sickness took my sire away? Ah, happy Rama, happy day, allowed his funeral rites to pay. The glorious monarch has not learned that I, his darling, have returned, or quickly had he hither sped, and pressed his kisses on my head. Where is that hand, whose gentle touch, most soft and kind, I loved so much? The hand that loved to brush away the dust that on his darling lay. Quick, bear the news to Rama's ear, tell the great chief that I am here, brother and sire and friend and all, is he, and I his trusty thrall. For noble hearts to virtue true, their sires in elder brothers view. To clasp his feet I fain would bow, he is my hope and refuge now. What said my glorious sire, who knew virtue and vice, so brave and true? Firm in his vows, dear lady, say, what said he ere he passed away? What was his rede to me, I crave, to hear the last advice he gave. Thus closely questioned by the youth, Kaikeyi spoke the mournful truth. The high-souled monarch wept and shied, for Rama, Sita, Lakshman cried. Then best of all who go to bliss, pass to the world which follows this. Ah, blessed are the people who shall Rama and his Sita view, and Lakshman of the mighty arm, returning free from scathe and harm. Such were the words, the last of all, thy father ere he died let fall. By fate and death's dread coils and wound, as some great elephant is bound. He heard, yet deeper in despair, her lips this double word declare, and with sad brow that showed his pain, questioned his mother thus again. But where is he, of virtue tried, who fills Kaushalya's heart with pride? Where is the noble Rama? Where is Lakshman brave and Sita fair? Thus pressed, the queen began to tell the story as each thing befell, and gave her son in words like these the mournful news she meant to please. The prince is gone in hermit dress to Dandak's mighty wilderness, and Lakshman brave and Sita share the wanderings of the exile there. Then Bharat's soul with fear was stirred, lest Rama from the right had erred, and jealous for ancestral fame, he put this question to the dame: Has Rama grasped with lawless hold a Brahman's house or land or gold? Has Rama harmed with ill intent some poor or wealthy innocent? Was Rama faithless to his vows, and enamoured of another's powers? Why was he sent to Dandak's wild, like one who kills an unborn child? He questioned thus, and she began to tell her deeds and crafty plan, deceitful-hearted, fond and blind, as is the way of womankind. No Brahman's wealth has Rama seized, no dame his wandering fancy pleased. his very eyes he never allows to gaze upon a neighbor's spouse. But when I heard the monarch planned to give the realm to Rama's hand, I prayed that Rama hence might flee and claim the throne, my son, for thee. The king maintained the name he bare, and did according to my prayer, and Rama with his brothers sent, and Sita forth to banishment. When his dear son was seen no more, the Lord of Earth was troubled sore. Too feeble with his grief to strive, he joined the elemental five. Up then, most dutiful, maintain the royal state, arise and reign. For thee, my darling son, for thee, all this was planned and wrought by me. Come, cast thy grief and pain aside, with manly courage fortified. This town and realm are all thine own, and fear and grief are here unknown. Come with Vasishtha's guiding aid, and priests in ritual skilled, let the king's funeral dues be paid, and every claim fulfilled. Perform his obsequies with all that suits his rank and worth, then give the mandate to install thyself as Lord of Earth. End of Cantos 70, 71 and 72.